Hi there, this is Stephanie again with Discreet Online Counseling, and I am joined today by two very important guests that I'm really excited about. Um, One is Stacey Graham. She's a licensed counselor who's going to be running a super exciting group for teens and youth. Um, and this is my teenage daughter, Hailey, who's here to give some of her input and some opinions. Well, so thank you guys both for coming. This is really exciting. Stacey, let's start with you. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and about this group?
Yeah, my name is Stacey Graham, and I'm a professional counselor. I have a license in professional counseling. I also am a yoga teacher and a practicer of yoga and mindfulness. I love to combine those two passions. I have a passion to support individuals in my community, as well as to support with this moving mindfulness practice of yoga. So, when I came to Stephanie, we kind of worked together to find an idea and how to first bring mindfulness and yoga to discrete counseling. And Stephanie had a wonderful idea of having a group for teenagers, just kind of managing stressors that are normal for teens. And, we're living in a pandemic. So we've got a few extra stressors going on in our lives right now. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that there's a need for this, and I think my heart's really with helping youth. I mean, I think everybody's been under some stress, but I think it's been really specific with our youth and our teenagers who have been going through a whole lot. They've been impacted in certain ways. Um, and so I'm just really grateful that we have an opportunity to be able to help them. And so Miss Hailey is here, and she's agreed to tell us a little bit about her experience as a teenager and be the voice for teenagers. So Hailey, could you tell us a little bit about your experiences, what this past year has been like for you, things that have been stressful for you specifically?
Some of the things that have been stressful for me, especially since we've been having to go online for school, I feel like it's harder for me to like focus and do
Yeah.
my work.
Mhm.
So then I like lose motivation and then I get like bad grades or my teachers and get disappointed in me or like are always bugging about like the missing assignments and stuff. So
Yeah.
that can be like really stressful, especially since like you hate having missing assignments because those also make you stressed. So that's probably one of the big things that has caused a lot of stress this year. And
Yeah. And you're not able to get out and see people, like see your friends like you usually
no.
do too, right? And so that's really different. Going to school
Yeah.
on a computer screen is very different for people. And as you said though too, I think it makes a lot of sense losing focus, being like just given assignments and then having to electronically turn them in and figure all of that out, and
Yeah.
worrying about if people are disappointed in you for not doing the assignments and all of that. I can imagine that would be pretty hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And also just being in a house in these four walls all the time, seeing the same people over and over again, yeah, can sometimes be hard too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Stacey, your thoughts on what's been impacting youth too? Like, what things have you been seeing, or in what ways maybe can this group really help youth navigate through some of these difficult emotions?
yeah, we've all been dealing with the unknown too. I think, Haley, when you were talking about just not knowing, can I go face to face, or are we going to be able to? How long are we going to be able to stay face to face? We just don't know that, right now, and sometimes dealing with that unknown is impacting our bodies, is impacting the way we're thinking, and creating some stressors in our bodies and in our minds, right, in our thoughts. And so one of the things I know about yoga and mindfulness is that it assists us in those ways too. And And you said, Hailey, you said focus. And like losing focus, right? We have so many things to think about right now. And we're not in school, so we don't have that teacher's eyeballs right on us, right? Like it is easier to lose focus right now. For me as an adult too, Hailey,
Yeah.
it is easier for me to lose focus. And one of the things a mindfulness practice does is it helps us to build that focus in our lives and to be able to refocus and not to judge ourselves. Too, this is another wonder of a mindfulness practice, not to judge ourselves when we do lose focus, right? That we always have an opportunity to refocus. And that's actually how we learn focus. Okay, I just said focus a lot. Um, so, but that is how we learn to refocus, is by losing focus. And so really seeing that as an opportunity instead of judging ourselves and criticizing ourselves. Our in our daily lives, what a mindfulness practice can build is this self-compassion too. This compassion for ourselves, in that we don't have to be perfect. It's all practice. Um, and that's what I love about mindfulness, and especially moving mindfulness. It's an accessible place to build a meditation practice. And it's accessible because it's so body based. We can feel our feet on the ground. And we can notice our breath in our bodies. And every time that we're taking a few moments to do that, we are building connections, neurological connections that help us to go there when we're stressed out too, that we can come back to those neurological connections that we're building in our bodies. And so I love a moving practice for that reason, because it's accessible.
Yeah, I liked what you said, Stacey, about self-compassion. I feel like that is so important. And also, one thing I remember when I was first becoming familiar with yoga and mindfulness years ago, when you said like it changes kind of some of those pathways in your brain and teaches you how to focus and how to move through some of that. I remember there was a shift where I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just kind of too busy to make the time to focus and to do mindfulness and all of that. But then I realized I'm too busy not to. Like I'm too busy not to learn how to be more efficient with my time and this space in my brain, and teaching my body how to relax and my brain how to relax is a really powerful thing. And when we can learn some of those skills, it really can be helpful. What are
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that, Hailey?
Um, yeah, I think that's like true. It's always good to like have have the ability to focus,
Right.
because I mean, throughout our entire lives, we're going to have to focus at some point.
Right. Well,
So,
and I think what can happen though too is we get in this place of like, I need to focus. Why can't I focus? I just need to do it. And then we feel bad for not focusing, and we feel, badly about ourselves, and like we should just know how to magically do this because that's what we need to be doing right now. But it's hard. It's hard to know how to do that and to teach our bodies how to do that. But also to be compassionate with ourselves when we're not able to.
Right. And it's such a time in our lives right now that we all lose focus, and like to be able to have compassion for ourselves, and then to be able to have compassion for others too, during this period of time. I think, when we're living in a period of our history, it'll be history someday, that we need to be working towards understanding others. And I think we've lost some of that, and we're just in that arc of understanding, right? And continuing to have that understanding of self, and so that we can understand others too, is a part of a yoga practice, is a part of a meditation practice. We look inside, right? We look internally sometimes at our own thoughts and our own um, ways of being, and so that we can move outward in the world, and we can support others, and we can be have meaning in our own lives, in the way we are. And I know, Haley, supporting others is kind of important to you. Even before we started recording, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing that I remember reading is, just with everything that's happening, how hard we can be on ourselves and how it can be easy to lose track of all that we're going through, and knowing that I read what I read was the quote of, "We're not failing, we're surviving." So, not doing as well in school, not being able to focus at work, or being able to feel good enough to get dressed every day, or whatever it might be, all of those things is us surviving and getting through a time that we've never been through in our lives. But that's not to say, like, some of these things might come up for us in the years to come too. I mean, even, years from now when the pandemic's over, or whenever that might be, who knows? um we might fall on hard times again, where we have a hard time focusing and feeling happy, and, and those kind of things. And so I feel like, especially with our youth, learning these skills is something that you're going to be able to use forever once you learn them. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. Also,
I know. Go ahead, Haley.
I was just gonna add something that it's also like hard to focus sometimes when there's like a lot of distractions going
Yes.
around. Like, oh, I could be watching TV right now, or
Yep.
oh, I could be sleeping.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
So,
You've had to manage your own time in a way that going to school, like, everything's kind of planned out, and now we have to build our own plans,
Yep.
which is hard.
Yes.
really,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And hard to keep on task, I bet, too.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 Well, I think another benefit, and I know we'll be on screens, but another benefit of doing a group is that we learn that we're not alone in the ways that we may be struggling at certain periods in our life. We also can gain support that others are learning new things too. Um, and one of the things I remember seeing, I don't know if anyone that's watching is familiar with Crim. And I know we ran in the Crim, Stephanie, a few years ago together, 10 miles. That was a feat. And part of that money that they're raising money for during the Festival of Races is a mindfulness program within the schools where they teach yoga. And I remember watching a video of kids and talking just about the ways that yoga has supported them in life. Off, we always say on our mats, we get to practice, and then we get to take it off our mats too. So my hope is that we can practice on our mats so that when our feet hit the ground and we're off our mats, whether we're at school or we're at home learning, and it sounds like most schools are going to work to get back to school and face-to-face learning, which is awesome. But that we will have those moments that we can rely on our mindfulness practice to make it through maybe a challenging time in our lives, or maybe a challenging moment in our lives.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. Well, thank you. I feel like that's a fantastic place to end, because what you just said was really powerful. So thank you guys both for taking time out to describe this. And if you guys are interested in joining a group with Stacey, whether you're a teenager who's watching this, or a parent, grandparent, loved one of a teenager who could benefit from this, please get a hold of us. I will put all of the information up on the profile. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Bye.